Thanksgiving was brought to you by Eli Roth, the man who brought you Cabin Fever, Hostel, and The House with a Clock in Its Walls. What an unorthodox group to be your directing filmography. Putting that all together? But yeah, I don't want to say this is the spiritual successor to Halloween where you have a holiday-centered slasher film. But I mean, yeah, it kind of is. You have an axe-wielding maniac who has this expressionless mask. But yeah, okay, let's talk about Thanksgiving. So as I've mentioned, this is a slasher film, so you have an axe-wielding maniac wearing the mask of John Carver and dressing up like a pilgrim. He's terrorizing residents of Plymouth, Massachusetts, fittingly. This all comes around after a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy. Picking off victims one by one, the seemingly random revenge killings soon become part of a larger, sinister plan. Now, if you know Eli Roth, you know what he is all about. This movie, I feel like, is Eli Roth at his most creative and at his finest. And I'm so happy to say that as a fan of horror movies, as a fan of those old school slashers like Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, the slasher genre may be back. And I feel like with this look, this pilgrim running around with this expressionless mask with a mustache on his face and he looks freaking terrifying, I think we may have a new horror icon. Because I'll tell you this much, Thanksgiving was one of the most entertaining horror movies I've sat through all year long. I don't know if it's my favorite because I'll tell you this much, the performances of our leads across the board definitely feel like slasher victim performances. And yeah, it can definitely be hard to get invested into these kids when you know what the outcome is probably going to be for them. But I feel like the movie is at its finest in 3 different facets. Number 1, the mystery. It kind of takes this Halloween formula and it puts a little bit of whodunit into that mix. Because if you think about those Halloween movies, nobody was really caring about who was under that Michael Myers mask. Because Michael Myers' origin and his face was revealed at the very beginning of that original film. This time around, there's an element of mystery going in. Who's behind all this? And I'll tell you this much, the movie does have a good amount of red herrings in here. It makes you think that it's going to be one person, but then it turns out to be this different person. And let me tell you, I would never have guessed the person that was under this mask to be it. And my jaw was on the floor. It was a really cool reveal. Now, number 2 facet why this movie works, the kills. You have never seen kills in a slasher film like Thanksgiving. Because these are disgusting, these are gruesome, these are creative. Once again, it is Eli Roth at his best. But number 3 facet why this movie works for me, the actual fear factor, the horror element. Because the kills in itself are disgusting, and you can definitely feel your stomach turning in knots. But I'm talking about that whole opening sequence. Black Friday comes around, and what the script says is very true. Black Friday doesn't start the day after Thanksgiving. It starts once Thanksgiving dinner concludes. And it is frightening when you have these primal customers going into this store that's almost like a Target in this world. And these people are mowing each other down to get gifts for their loved ones. Like, that whole opening scene will send shivers up and down your spine. All fear is subjective. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be frightened by these kills and they may have nightmares about the kills, but I feel like the more nightmarish sequences in horror films are stuff that can tangibly happen. And let me tell you, there have been many Black Friday tragedies through the years, I'm sure, where poor innocent civilians have been trampled just as they're starting their holiday gift shopping. Like, it's horrible. I don't know, guys. Thanksgiving was so much better than I ever thought it would have been. Again, the performances of our lead kids definitely feel like the vintage bad performances that you saw from the Halloween victims. Easily, in terms of performances, the best actor in this movie was Patrick Dempsey. Yeah, remember Patrick Dempsey? Robert from Enchanted? Yeah, he's in this movie. And it took me a second to register that was him. And he was really freaking great. He plays the sheriff of Plymouth here, and man does he hit a home run. And let me just say that he is very likable and very charming, and you feel very comfortable around him for sure. But yeah, taking after Donald Pleasance in the Halloween movies, yeah, Patrick Dempsey was the best performer, I think, all around. There's definitely a lot of potential with these younger actors down the line, like Addison Rae of TikTok fame. She is in this. But I just don't really feel like the script is doing much of any favors for the characters. And again, this might also be due to the strike, and again, I'm so glad that Hollywood is starting to pay their actors and writers what they're owed. But I think the creativity of Eli Roth behind the camera, the creativity of how this John Carver masked maniac wields his axe and kills all these poor people. There's some sequences in this and some imagery that Eli Roth is showing you that are not going to leave my mind for a while. Like, this is a movie that feels like it was released 40 years ago and we're just getting it now. It has such a big burst of nostalgic feel to it, and it's probably one of the more entertaining movies you're going to see, not just in this 2023 holiday season, but the entire year 2023. I really enjoyed Thanksgiving. It was such a pleasant surprise. My eyes were glued to the screen. This runtime flew by. Before I know it, the credits were rolling, and I was like, "Aw, that's the end? That was it?" But yeah, it's also a movie that doesn't overstay its welcome. I think the slasher genre is definitely making a return to form with Thanksgiving. I really enjoyed this. If you're a fan of horror movies in general, definitely seek this one out. I'm going to give Thanksgiving an A. Grab all your closest friends, grab anybody who's into horror, and dig in. But let me know what you thought of Thanksgiving down in the comments section. Is this your favorite slasher movie of all time? If not, what is? There's loads that we can discuss over here on this channel and then some. This is a great community of film lovers and entertainment lovers out here, and y'all are invited to join us. So do consider subscribing, tap on that thumbs up, because we have a stacked remainder of 2023, and I can't wait to dig into all that with you guys. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much again for tuning in. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.